G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back of course to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good in your part of the world. Watch a review of this beautiful vintage Rolex Oyster Junior Sport Ref 64701. And this little beauty hails from all the way back in 1943. It comes with its original documentation, which I'll go into in a second because that adds a superb insight into the watch's history. So let me just zoom in so we can get up close. All right, so there is the watch. And as you can see in relation to my fingers, it's a little on the petite side, but I think quite in keeping with the watches of the time, and there's also a reason for that size. I'll come on to that in a second. As I say, the fact that it comes with its original documents, I find fascinating because that just, helps us to understand a lot more that's going on. You can see that the watch was then purchased in 1943 from the Abbasid store in Baghdad, and that was located, as they reference, near to the Al Zahra cinema. Quite a lot has been written about that cinema. We can see from this photo this is what it looked like back in the day. So yeah, it gives you a little bit of an idea of what the little shops on that sidewalk must have been like, and then also the people who were shopping there at the time. You don't need me to tell you what was going on in 1943, and that adds a little bit of a mystery of its own. I do wonder what W.H. Robinson Esquire was doing in Baghdad at that time. Unfortunately, I don't have the tools or the references in order to be able to check that. So yeah, a little challenge for somebody. The fact that they call it a desert watch as well, I find quite interesting, because it actually has more of an aviation history to it. But yeah, anyway. I've discovered, so digging around, that in 1943, Rolex had a series of watches and an advertising campaign called Time Flies, celebrating the pilots of the decade and their achievements. And then World War II kicked off shortly afterwards, and it seems that these smaller size watches became a very popular pilot's choice, perhaps because they slid under, thick, chunky leather jackets and things like that, flight suits, etc. of the time. I also understand that the series was sold more primarily overseas, but again, I'm not an expert, so please fact checking and input is greatly appreciated. And as I say, you can just sort of see, I'll throw it on wrist so you can see what it looks like on my wrist. A little bit tiny by modern standards. I think generally we would probably describe these watch dimensions as lady sizes. I mean, yeah, my wrist is 7¼ inch, just for reference. I mean, it doesn't look bad at all. But yeah, just a little petite. And if you've got aging eyes looking at it from a distance, it does become challenging to tell the time. It's just 30 mils across and a very diminutive 40 mils north to south, and just 9 mils deep. And it's then sitting on 16 mil lugs. Yeah, you can just see very, very basic case back again with the reference number on the back there. You see lovely little curve on the lugs. Notice as well that they came with drilled lugs as well, again making swap outs a little bit easy, but just drilled on the one side. Again, fascinating. So I don't know if this is the original bracelet or not, but again, it would be, fact checking is always welcome on anything on this channel. Again, I think the paperwork, perhaps, as I said before, add a little bit of value to the watch also. And a couple of things that I've noticed on this one that I found a little bit fascinating. So you look, we've got reference number 64791 at the top, but actually the watch is 64701. So yeah, somebody in the shop made a little admin error there. And then also noticed that the purchase date moved from February to December. I don't know whether it was on order or not, or something like that. But again, find something around that fascinating. This is 1943. I don't know what that says, if that's 12 or 18 or 15. I have no idea. Anyway, yeah. So the bracelet, as I say, held up very well for its age, if it is indeed the original. And there's something to make you chuckle. Yes, indeed. Press clasp on a Rolex. Maybe that's where Casio got their inspiration from for what they're doing nowadays. But it is genuine. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you that, so I'll pop up a close-up on the... let's just have a look, so get it around the other way around. Yeah, I'll pop up a close-up here. It's Rolex made in England, so again, indicative that it is a genuine Rolex. Again, if it's from 43 or not, I don't know. The clasp itself, again, it comes with that little crown here as well, release, which is nice. Nice to see that it was integrated here as opposed to just being stuck on. It's had some beating, but yeah, you'd kind of expect that. Thing that surprised me a little bit, though, is that you've got a very decent number of micro adjusts there, which is a little bit ahead of its time. Another thing that's a bit ahead of its time as well, you've got actually a screw down crown here, so it's just like a half screw. And yeah, I mean it's a fraction stiff, but I think we could certainly forgive it that. Coming from sorry, can't see through the camera, just coming from when it does. I don't know if the crown is 100% original because it's not signed, but again, I don't know if they were signed or whether that's, you know, an additional. The dial, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. Let me just try and zoom in and get a bit there. Much better. The dial, the design, I think it's gorgeous. The hour markers in that very, you know, black heavy font. It's very simple, and then you've got just that little bit of a twist of panache with the 6 and the 9 there, not being the line not connecting. So again, just super subtle minute track around the edges, and then just at the bottom, of course, it's saying Swiss made as opposed to made in Switzerland or anything else. There is loom, surprisingly. I don't know what kind of loom they used back in the 1940s. Great to see that colour pop, although as you'd expect, it doesn't last that long. It's certainly not going to last you through the night. But again, interesting to see how it is still quite strong and clear. The other thing, I mean, I really wish that I had a better microphone. As you put this thing up to your ear and you can hear that movement, it'll have your average watch nerd giggling with glee. I mean, it's a beautiful sound. Yeah, just a beautiful sound. So that's a wrap on this one. Massive thanks to the owner for sharing this one because yeah, just love looking at historical watches, and you know when you get an old Rolly like this one, again, brilliant. Anyway, massive thanks as well as always to you guys for your time and for your view. And I love you in touch. Catch you all in the next vid. Cheers, guys.